Hello everyone. Now today we'll be continuing our the previous lecture, that is a revision of the USMLE step 1 2021 and microbiological section. So we were on previously on page number 124. Now we are on page number 125 and the recent step 1 section. Now coming to this page, you can find out this is a second lecture. So we can find out that there are the different strain that has been mentioned with their application, and that can be used, that can be given as a first relative information, and then you have to find out the second degree of they will ask you the second degree questions. So you need to understand, you need to master this strain as well. Let me explain you something about the strain. Actually this is the coloring of the bacteria, but since we are using this bacteria, the living thing, when we are going to say anything about the living thing, then that is not the term used is stain, not a dye or color. So coloring is for, or dye is for the inert substance, like cloth we dye, the dye is used over there. But in case of the living thing, we use the stain. So bacteria is stained, living thing, when you made a pathological slide, then we stain it, we do not color it. So the term stain will be used, that you have to understand, but the meaning is same, the procedure is the same thing. We are coloring that, we are coloring the bacteria, that is the meaning of this stain. So what are the type of stain? Now there will be the basic stain, then there will be the differential stain, there will be the negative stain, and that is the special stain. So one thing is in the positive and negative stain. So we can differentiate the basic, differential stain and special stain in the positive stain, and negative stain is a slightly different one. In negative stain, what we do, we color the surrounding but not the organism. So if you know about this Cryptococcus neoformans, these are having thick polysaccharide capsule. So we color the background. The background India ink is a black ink. So there will be a black background, and in that black background this organism will be prominently seen. So we are not coloring this bacteria. There is no entry of this India ink inside the bacteria. So bacteria, that normally we are talking about this Cryptococcus neoformans, that is a fungus. So there will be no entry of this any stain inside their body. This has a polysaccharide layer which repel actually negative stain, and what are the same positively charged thing is present in the polysaccharide layer, that is the same we will use as the stain, and they will repel each other, and there will not stain of the fungus. So fungus will be predominantly seen under the negative dark black background, and in this way negative stain works. But the positive stain, what does? They will stain everything. They will stain the background, they will stain the bacteria, everything. So in case of the positive stain, if you are talking about the basic stain, we use only single dye, and that single dye will say, suppose methylene blue, then that will stain your all of the things. It will stain your background, it will stain your cell, it will stain your bacteria, everything present in that slide. That you have to understand. Then there is a term called differential stain. Look, differential stain is named because at the end of this procedure, at the end of this stain, there will be two different or group of organism will present as a two different color. That is the meaning of differential stain. So at the end of this differential stain procedure, at the end of this procedure, we will find two different group of bacteria with the two different color. That is the point. Suppose example is the Gram stain, another is a Ziehl-Neelsen stain. So if you are talking about the Gram stain, if you say there are the four step, one step you use the primary color, then you use the modern, then you use the decolorization, and in the decolorization step, and the last one is the counter stain step. So if you know the basic background, there is the gram-positive bacteria that has the thick peptidoglycan layer. Initial color we use is the crystal violet, by which what happened, both gram-positive and gram-negative both becomes the violet color. Then we use iodine as a mordant that will stabilize this color, and in third stage what we do, we decolorize it. So one group gram-positive organism doesn't decolorize because crystal violet get attached to this peptidoglycan layer, whereas in gram-negative the peptidoglycan is thin and it become, the dye is clearly washed away, it become clear, it become colorless. So at the third step, what happened, the gram-positive remains the crystal violet, whereas a gram-negative becomes a pink color organism, no, colorless organism. And at the end of the fourth stage, when you put the counter stain, what happened, the initial gram-positive is remaining the same crystal violet, but on the third stage, which is a gram-negative, have become colorless. Now take the last counter stain color, that is the pink color, and in this way now we at the end of the procedure we are finding the gram positive is holding this crystal violet, whereas the gram negative loses its crystal violet, and at the last it gets the pink color. So at the end of the gram stain, what you are finding, one group of organism having the crystal violet color, another group of organism that is pink in color. Those with the crystal violet color is known as the gram positive organism, those with the pink color is known as the gram negative organism. So that you have to understand, gram stain is one of the basic first step. Any stain is a first step of the procedure. When you send anything into lab, what they do, they usually make a smear and do a stain and try to differentiate the organism. That you have to understand. Okay, so let's talk about this. So differential stain, gram stain, first line lab test in the bacterial identification. This is the first test which we done in the lab. Then bacteria with the thick peptidoglycan, which is called gram positive. Then bacteria with the thin peptidoglycan we call as gram negative, which takes the counter stain color. There are some organisms that do not gram stain well, and that is the Treponema pallidum and Leptospira species, because they have very too thin to visualize. Then is the Mycobacterium, which needs Zn stain, and because the cell wall contain the high lipid content. So when we use this gram stain, they doesn't enter into the mycobacterial cell because they have the high mycolic acid, that is lipid content, and because of that they doesn't gram stain doesn't enter this dye or say stain doesn't enter into the bacteria, and for that we use the Zell-Nansen stain. I will come to the Zell-Nansen stain. Then there is the Mycoplasma and Urea plasma. They doesn't have any cell wall. This gram stain usually stain the cell wall, so there is no cell wall, so there will be no stain in the Mycoplasma and Urea plasma. And there are the certain organisms like Legionella, Rickettsia, Chlamydia, Bartonella, Anaplasma and Ehrlichia. They are primarily intracellular organisms. You have to remember, by this stain we will staining the cell wall, and that is usually present outside the cell. So we are staining the bacteria that is present inside the freely, not inside the cell. In the cell, for cell staining we have to use the other thing like intracellular structure, where you can see through the Giemsa stain and other stain. Okay, so you have to be clear, gram stain is the staining of the bacteria that is extracellular present. It can even stain the fungus. Some fungus will be gram positive like Candida, but they will be found extracellularly. Inside the cell it will not give you a proper color. Okay, this is the first step. Then there is another stain which is at the end of this Zell-Nansen stain also, like in gram stain. At the end of the gram stain you find two color. One is the crystal violet blue color and another is the pink color. Blue color or crystal violet color is the gram positive organism, and pink color is the gram negative organism. Similarly, Zell-Nansen stain is also one of the stain known as the acid fast stain. So you should, the same name is there, acid fast stain and Zell-Nansen is the same thing. This is the name of the scientist who has developed this acid fast stain. Why it is acid fast? Because in the presence of normally acid will decolorize everything, but in case of Zell-Nansen mycobacteria, the acid also is not able to decolorize the reagent, the color that has been taken primarily, like carbolphosin. What happened in this first step? We put the carbolphosin. Carbolphosin doesn't go inside. Then we heat the from the slide from the below. Then what happened? This mycolic acid, high lipid content, get melted, and this carbolphosin red color enter inside it. Then on third step we try to decolorize with the acid, high concentrated acid, but also that doesn't decolorize in Mycobacterium tuberculosis. But all other bacteria which have taken this dye initially carbolphosin red color, that usually get decolorized. So everything get decolorized except this Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So at the end of the procedure, when you use counter stain, so like blue color, or then background will be blue, but bacteria will present as a pink color, red color. Why? Because the initial carbolphosin color will be remain even after washing with the acid, high concentration acid. So acid fast. Because of that, it can even the color doesn't get cleared by this acid, high concentration acid, so it is known as the acid fast stain. So the why only one organism that can stand 20% of the H2SO4, that is the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it is one of the best way to diagnose if there is the Mycobacterium tuberculosis present in your slide, in that sample. Then in nocardia, it can resist but lower amount of 5% of H2SO4. It can be only be arrested by the Mycobacterium leprae and 1% by the nocardia species. That you have to understand. There are certain other protozoic structure like Cryptosporidium oocyst that will also stand as a Zell-Nansen stain, will be get positive. That will also be pink color. Okay. Now coming to the India ink, we have already discussed about the India ink. It is a negative stain, Cryptococcus neoformans, which is a fungus. It has a well-defined capsule, so we doesn't touch that fungus. We just stain the background, and in black background the fungus white disappears as a predominantly with a prominent capsule. So there is another, this capsule has been again can be stained by the mucimaramine, so that can be helps to stain this thick polysaccharide and it appears as a red. So you can use the India ink or you can use the mucicaramide, that is you have to understand. Now coming to the special stain, there are certain stain that can be used for the specially organism like silver stain. It is known as the methamine silver stain, and that is used for the staining of mainly the fungi like Pneumocystis jirovecii, which is responsible for the pneumonia in HIV patient, then Coccidioides, this fungus. Then there are certain bacteria like Legionella and H. pylori. So this special stain you have to understand, because they are used for the special organism only, and that is a very important point of information while you are making your diagnosis. Okay, they can ask you about the scenario and then give you a fungus name that is positive and the silver stain, then you have to understand they are talking about the Pneumocystis jirovecii or Coccidioides. Even they are talking about the bacteria, then you have to understand it is talking about the Legionella or H. pylori. So the big depending on the scenario, you have to catch the information. Okay, then comes to the Giemsa stain. Giemsa stain is usually stain for the intracellular organism like Chlamydia, Rickettsia, Borrelia, Trypanosoma, Plasmodium, and even H. pylori also. They are usually helpful because they can they remain in the cell, some of the H. pylori. Okay, so Giemsa stain is mainly for the intracellular organism. There are a certain formula, like certain box really try my patients, certain for the Chlamydia, Borrelia, like Rickettsia, Trypanosoma and Plasmodium. H. pylori have been added into the news as this 2021 STEP family section, so they have made a different formula. You can go and remember, this is the way to remember, but you have to understand one thing, that all the gram intracellular organism can be well demonstrated on Giemsa stain. Then there is another stain like periodic acid Schiff stain, that is known as PAS is used to stain the glycogen. So you can remember the PAS, the sugar, glycogen is one of the sugar, so they are staining the sugar component, mucopolysaccharide used to diagnose Whipple disease, Trophorema whippeli. So this periodic acid PAS stain is used for other stain also. It is usually in the histopathology, not in microbiology, but we can use this because it stain the glycogen sugar component of the thing like bacteria or the cell. Then it is helping diagnosis of Whipple disease, that Trophorema whippeli. Then there is the another term known as the fluorescence antibody stain. This is a very interesting stain. Fluorescence antibody stain can be used to diagnose anything, any infection. It is intracellularly, extracellularly, anything you can stain with this fluorescence antibody stain. It is a highly specialized stain, so you need to, usually used to identify many bacteria and viruses. Example, FTA-ABS, that is used for syphilis. Let me explain something about fluorescence antibody test. Since look, fluorescence antibody, what we do, there is a certain antigen you want to diagnose. So suppose there is some virus or bacteria, then you put a antibody. So there is an antigen antibody, the antigen antibody reaction will be there, and in the portion, in the tail of that antibody, we label this fluorescence dye, and that fluorescence dye then we wash away. Since there is antigen antibody reaction, and in antibody tail there is the, suppose let me explain you, this is the antigen and this is the antibody, and in this tail, suppose this is, you are talking about the virus, this is the antibody against it, and in that tail we are attaching this fluorescence antibody dye. Now what happened, you wash it. So if it is not attached, then this antibody will wash away and there will no fluorescence remain. Since they both antigen antibody is attached, so they will remain intact. And now after putting this into the fluorescence microscope, due to the presence of this dye, you can detect this color, fluorescence color, and on the basis of that, since this is the monoclonal antibody, this is only specific to this virus, then you know that the antibody has bind only to this virus, and on the basis of this dye we can indirectly confirm that this virus is present in your sample, and that diagnosis is confirmed. So this can be applied for everything, every lot of even antibody, antigen, anywhere fluorescence antibody dye can be used, and it can be used for the diagnosis test. Thank you.